Margaretha Geertruida Zell was born in the Netherlands in 1876. From a young age, she dreamed of adventure. Unlike other girls her age who were content with ordinary lives, Margaretha longed for excitement, travel, and a life that would make people remember her. She had an unusual charm and a striking presence, which drew attention wherever she went. Little did anyone know, this charm would later become both her greatest gift and her most dangerous weapon. Her childhood was not easy. Margaretha's father died when she was young, leaving the family in financial difficulties. She witnessed her mother struggling to support the household, and Margaretha knew she wanted more than a simple life. She studied languages and learned to play the piano, but her heart was always set on something extraordinary. She wanted to see the world, meet fascinating people, and live a life full of stories worth telling. In her early 20s, Margaretha married a Dutch military officer named Rudolf Maclode. The marriage was arranged, and while it offered her a way to leave the Netherlands, it was far from happy. They moved to the Dutch East Indies, now Indonesia, where Margaretha was exposed to cultures and traditions far different from her own. She learned exotic dances, customs, and languages, and soon she began to perform for small gatherings, enchanting audiences with her elegance and grace. She found herself drawn to the beauty and mystery of the local culture, yet her marriage remained cold and abusive. Margarita eventually returned to Europe alone, seeking freedom and a new life. Back in Europe, she reinvented herself. She called herself Matahari, meaning Eye of the Day in Malay, and began performing as an exotic dancer in Paris. Her shows were breathtaking. She wore colorful costumes, danced with dramatic flair, and fascinated high society. People whispered about her beauty and her mysterious past. She quickly became a famous courtesan, mingling with influential military officers, politicians, and businessmen. Everywhere she went, doors opened for her, and people confided secrets without realizing they were speaking to a spy. Paris in the early 1910s was a city alive with culture and intrigue. Matahari thrived there, performing at luxurious theaters and private parties. She had a talent for reading people, understanding their desires, and making them feel special. Her charm was irresistible, and she soon became a trusted guest in elite circles. Men were captivated by her, while women envied her elegance. She enjoyed the attention, but also realized its potential. Every whispered secret, every stolen glance could become a piece of information worth knowing. In 1914, the world changed forever. World War I broke out, and Europe was plunged into chaos. Nations were desperate for information. Matahari's charm and social skills did not go unnoticed by intelligence officers. Both Germany and France sought her assistance. She was approached by French intelligence with a tempting offer: to use her connections to gather information about Germany. Matahari hesitated at first. She was no soldier or diplomat, but the thrill of espionage combined with the promise of wealth and excitement was irresistible. She accepted the mission. At first, her tasks were simple: attend parties, converse with officers, and discreetly note any valuable information. Mata Hari moved through the corridors of power as if she belonged there, always smiling, always dancing, and always watching. Her life was a delicate balancing act. Each day brought new dangers, and each evening she returned to her glamorous performances, maintaining her image as an innocent entertainer. Her intelligence work was exciting but exhausting. Mata Hari had to remember details from countless conversations, keep her notes hidden, and carefully choose whom to trust. One careless word could ruin everything. Yet she felt alive in ways she never had before. The thrill of secrecy, the power of influence, and the knowledge that she held critical information in her hands gave her a sense of purpose she had never known. However, espionage is never simple. Mata Hari's world became increasingly dangerous. Rumors spread that she might be a double agent, working for Germany as well as France. Every message she delivered, every person she met, could be a trap. She knew that even a small mistake could cost her life. She could not trust anyone completely, and she had to rely on her intelligence and instincts to survive. One evening, while attending a lavish gathering in Paris, Mata Hari overheard a conversation that would change everything. A German officer mentioned plans that could compromise French military operations. Her pulse quickened. This was the moment she had been waiting for, a critical piece of intelligence that could save thousands of lives. Carefully, she memorized the details and later delivered them to her French handlers. They were impressed. For a time, she became a celebrated figure in the intelligence community, admired for her courage and cleverness. But the danger was growing. German intelligence suspected she was working for the French. French intelligence began to question her loyalty. Friends became enemies, and every glance seemed to carry a hidden threat. Mata Hari's life had become a game of shadows where trust was a luxury she could not afford. Even her performances, once a source of joy, became masks she wore to hide the growing fear in her heart. Despite the tension, Mata Hari continued to live boldly. She traveled across Europe, attended social gatherings, and danced in theaters filled with admirers. Yet each day she knew could be her last. She had friends in high places, but none could guarantee her safety. Her fame, which had once been her shield, now made her a target. Every whisper about her loyalty, every rumor of espionage could spell disaster. In 1917, her luck ran out. French authorities arrested her, accusing her of espionage for Germany. She faced interrogation and a trial that captured the attention of all Europe. Evidence against her was flimsy, but the world was at war, and the need for a scapegoat was strong. Mata Hari maintained her composure throughout the proceedings, charming and defiant even in the face of danger. Yet, behind her calm exterior, she knew the truth. The life she had built on secrets and deception might soon end. The trial was quick. Newspapers called her a seductress, a spy, and a traitor. The court painted her as a villain, using her fame and femininity against her. Mata Hari's supporters argued that she had been misunderstood, that her actions were motivated by survival rather than betrayal. But the verdict was inevitable. She was found guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad. On October 15, 1917, Mata Hari faced her final moment. Dressed in a simple blouse and skirt, she walked calmly to the place of execution. Witnesses said she did not flinch, did not cry, and met the soldiers with a steady gaze. Some accounts suggest she even whispered a final word or two in defiance, though no one knows for certain. The shots rang out, and Mata Hari fell, ending the life of a woman who had danced her way through Europe, collecting secrets and walking in plain sight. Her story did not end with her death. Mata Hari became a legend, a symbol of mystery, intelligence, and danger. Books were written, movies were made, and people continue to debate her guilt or innocence. Was she truly a traitor, or was she a woman caught in a world that feared her independence and charm? The truth is complex, but one fact remains clear. Mata Hari lived a life unlike any other, daring to step into a world of espionage where few could survive. Mata Hari's life teaches us that courage comes in many forms. It is not always about swords or guns. Sometimes it is about wit, charm, and the ability to navigate the shadows. Her story reminds us that the line between hero and villain can be thin, and that history often judges people more harshly than they deserve. In the end, Mata Hari was more than a spy. She was a woman who defied convention, embraced danger, and walked through life with elegance and audacity. Though her life ended tragically, her legend continues to inspire those who dare to be different, to take risks, and to leave a mark on the world that will not be forgotten. And so, the spy who walked in plain sight lives on. A reminder that true courage is often hidden behind a smile.